Ooh, yeah, you guys are gonna like this. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Tonight we're doing something a little different. Tonight we are going to unbox a product that I've been looking forward to for a long time. We got our hands on one. We're gonna be one of the first ones to take a look at it, and it is the ScanGauge 3. Now, I have been a fan of the SG2 model for years now, using it for everything from diagnosing weird problems to fixing things that I've done wrong, and it's been a godsend. So I am excited to see what they have done with the new version. It's been a long time coming. Let's open it up right now. Let's not even wait. Let's just go straight into it. First off, nice, cool box. It's really a high-end looking product from the box. Nice, classy, really brings it up to date, so really feels like a modern product just looking at it straight away. So let's get it opened up here. I don't even know what's inside, frankly. Let's take a look. All right, make sure I don't accidentally drop anything. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right. So first thing it comes with here is the OBD2 plug, which is what you're going to need in order to connect it to your vehicle. And that is going to be most modern vehicles, I believe 1998 and up. I'll have to correct myself, it might be 1997 and up, but should be most vehicles that are on the road today that don't have a carburetor. How about that? Chances are, if you don't have a carburetor, you probably have an OBD2 system. So we've got the cable, that's a good start. And here we've got a suction cup mount. Okay, cool. That's awesome because a lot of these types of products don't give you anything to actually mount it to. It just kind of, it's free floating and flops about and you really can't use it. So I'm gonna kind of open that first if you don't mind. So we've got, okay, so if you've used like GoPro mounts and stuff like that, it feels very much like that. Really sharp. Not at all cheap looking. I love that. Nice suction cup mount here. Probably stick to my head if I made it work. That's cool. That's a huge bonus in my opinion. And there's a sticky bit here. I'm not sure if that is magnetic. I'm gonna assume it is, but we'll check it out in a second. So I'm gonna set that down right here. And there is also some instructions, which we are not going to use, because I'm going to try to see if we can get this thing set up without instructions. Because if it's as easy as they say it is, I'm not using the instructions, because I feel like everybody else is just going to throw them away anyway. And okay, and inside here there is, aha, all right. So this kind of explains it. There's some bits of metal that I suspect that we will stick to the back of the product. And there's an alcohol wipe here that we would probably use for that as well. Cool, good start. I am excited already. Let's set that aside. Now for the main attraction. Ooh, yeah, you guys are gonna like this. You guys are gonna like this. If you are a fan, I'll kind of give you a preview here. Oh man, if you're a fan of the old version, you are gonna like this. Check that out. That is a sharp looking product right there. Right off the bat, that is looking good. I'm wondering right off the bat, yes! Yeah, look at that magnet. That is nice. I thought you were gonna have to stick something on top of that. That is great. That magnet holds nice. Okay, wow, we are off to a good start. That's cool. I love when you can actually get a product to kind of mount properly. There's nothing I hate worse than just an ugly install. So now I want to get a comparison here, if you don't mind. I want to get a comparison between this one and the old one. So I'm going to turn around. I'm going to grab it out of my toolbox here. Give me 1 second. It's about twice as tall as it was before. So that is really cool. I think it's a really nice, and as far as thickness, if you're comparing the two, they're pretty close. I mean, really, really close. What I'm really curious is if this mount works on the old one. No. I was hoping maybe, I think this is an aluminum case. I was hoping that maybe it would fit on there. That'd be fun. But all the more reason not to go with the old one and get the brand new version. I like my old one. What I loved the most about it was how portable it was. As you can see, it's about the size of a candy bar. Easily fits in a pocket. And I can't tell you the amount of times that I went out and literally just went it and into somebody else's car and took it with me. The good news is that this is still pretty small. It's not that much bigger than a smartphone, honestly, and depending on what kind of smartphone you had, it might be big enough. This easily fits in my pocket. I can tell already. So it's still portable. It's still something that you can take around with you, and it's very lightweight. The funny thing is, now again, this one's got a metal housing, and this is kind of the plastic. They feel about the same weight too. So I'm really excited to get this thing plugged in. I'm tired of looking at the blank screen. I want to see it get started. So let's get it plugged in. If only we had a vehicle to plug it into. Well, as it turns out, we have this kind of busted up old Porsche in our shop, so let's plug it in. It's an old German car, so there's a good chance there's probably a code already waiting there. And let's get into the cockpit, get it plugged in, and let's see just how easy this is. See if it's as easy as they say. All right, here we are in the car, and we're going to get this thing plugged in properly. Again, here's our OBD2 cable. Let's get this opened up, and that's just going to plug right in under the dash. And if you haven't explored where your OBD2 port is, it's pretty easy to find it, I'll be honest. So your OBD2 will be under the dash. It will generally be on the driver's side. I would just do yourself a favor before you start this kind of thing, even though it's very easy, just locate your port already so that way you're not kind of fumbling around for it. That way you can make sure you get a nice clean, plug in there. There are a couple of things, if it doesn't work, that you can troubleshoot. For the most part, you shouldn't have any problems. Note that the plug isn't square, so you'll need to make sure you orient the plug in the way that it goes in properly. So you can see it's tapered there, and there's even a hump on the top here. You can use your finger to kind of figure out where that is. For the most part, most people should kind of open the door and get in there and look. I think I should be able to do it here without looking, but in any case, this is step one, plugging this in. All right, I've got mine plugged in. This car's got a little bit of a fiddly OBD2 port, so yours will probably have a little bit better mileage. I'm going to stick this up here so we can see it pretty good. Now, here's the funny thing about this old Porsche. It's got a lot of cool features, some things that you would be surprised that modern cars are even lacking sometimes. But it really has kind of a terrible amount of gauges. And for a car that really is a performance type car, even a basic performance car, it feels like it should have things like oil pressure and whatnot, but it doesn't. And the nice thing about the ScanGauge is that it opens up a whole realm of gauges that you didn't have access to before. So let's peel this bit off here. And again, I probably should have read the directions, but I'm not going to because nobody does. All right, let's see if we can orient this in a way. I think right here is going to be pretty good. I'm going to put it down just a bit more. I think right about there is going to be fine. I'm going to lock it into place. That feels pretty solid, I'll be honest. And let's get our unit in place here. Now, I don't know if that's where I'm going to put it permanently, and this is a convertible, so I don't know if I want it flying out the window, but I'll tell you what, that seems pretty sturdy right there. So for right now, for our testing at least, that's what we're going to do. We're going to just plug it right in here. I feel like it's pretty sturdy. All right, I think that's where we're going to put it just for now. It doesn't appear to be impeding this. I probably could move it back a little further. In fact, I might just do that. Boy, that sticks on there pretty good. That is like borderline adhesive. All right, that's maybe even a bit better right there for being able to view it. All right, well, now you'll probably want to route this cable in a way that's, now depending on if you're using it just for a diagnosis type thing, and you might be moving it from vehicle to vehicle, or if you plan to kind of have it just like permanently in the vehicle. It depends on what your use is going to be. Everybody's going to use it for something different. You'll probably want to route this cable in a safe way. Make sure it's not by your feet. Make sure that it's not impeding your clutch and your brake and things like that. You definitely don't want something like this getting tied up in your feet. So my suggestion is find a nice way to route this once you get it all booted up and everything. So I am going to plug it in the back here. There is basically just like like a Ethernet kind of connection. So just pop that in there, and we're connected. And it's already booting up. I haven't turned the car on yet, so already looking good. Now I suspect I'm going to put my key in the ignition here and just turn it to run. I'm immediately loving the color screen. It really looks sharp. In fact, it's putting into sharp contrast the rest of this interior, which is quite dated, honestly. So it is pretty cool to have this very modern type thing here. So, all right, so let's scan. So it says 3 incomplete emissions monitors. And when I click on that, it says the catalyst monitor status, the secondary air system monitor status, and the oxygen sensing monitor status are not complete. I don't know what that means. I don't have any codes or anything like that. Now, I'm going to suspect that I am going to end up with some codes here on this car at some point. I know that I've got some things going on. I know I've got a leak on one of the spark plug tubes, and I think somebody overfilled the oil, so I've got to drain a bit of oil out. All of those things kind of have some emissions related stuff that can happen. So let's play around with the rest of it. So there is a mode for gauge, trip, scan, and more. We already checked out the scan. Let's check out the gauge bit of it. And here you have a customizable view. So right now, this one has trip cost, maximum speed, coolant maximum, RPM, miles to empty, and I can click on each one of those fields to get even more information, which is pretty cool. And again, for an old car like this, suddenly opening up all of these options for what normally would have been impossible, things like trip meters and things like that, really beyond a little bit of a odometer type thing on here, there's not much available. So you have quite a lot of options when it comes to basically gauges and information. And if you're a junkie like me that really wants the technical information and really wants to get into it, this is the stuff that you want. You're going to be able to go in and find out fuel mileage. You're going to be able to calculate your trip, how much it's going to cost you for each trip. And I don't know about you, but these days I'm spending almost $6 a gallon. Yeah, I'm kind of concerned what it's costing me per trip to go out to someplace. And so for people who are, say, like Uber drivers or something of that nature, suddenly that might become pretty important if you're talking about deciding if you're charging the correct amount or if you're actually making a profit or not. Now, there's some other things that you're going to want to check out as well. And some of those things are the performance-related things. Now, the screens for the performance thing have some horsepower calculations. Pretty neat stuff that's available, again, on an old car like this, which is, I think is pretty amazing. And the ability to scan your own computer, I don't think I have to tell you, it's a way for you to save money. Now, I want to go back here and go into the other settings, and I want to set up here. There's a way to set up the colors. There's tons of different things there. In the actual vehicle, there's a way to customize the engine. In this case, this is a 2.7 liter, so I'm going to say 2.7. And yes, it's a gasoline car, which is good. I don't know how big the tank size is. I'll have to go back and check that. Units, I want everything to be English. This is going to be in dollar. I can go down to yen and pound and euro. That's cool. There's also a Wi-Fi update option, which is pretty awesome. That wasn't available before. So let's take another look at the menu setup here. I want to go back to the gauges, and I really want to just get in here and take a look at some of the other ones you can choose. So you can look at engine load, you can look at voltage. That's something that's nice here. There's no volt gauge on this car. You can look at, again, gross horsepower, speed. There's so many options that you have available. You're really spoiled for choice. It's been great having you guys. It's been great unboxing this product. I'm excited. I'm a car guy, so it's always cool to see something new. And if you like this kind of content, if you like anime content, check out some of these videos here. We always love having you. It's been great talking cars with you guys. Kampai.